in the car yet. Quite a lot of GoPro problem. Tomorrow morning I've got to do the water sidewalk again because I'm dropping this off to get its rear axle replaced. But yeah, so a wee safari sort of thing here. So one of you guys, one of the Steam team perhaps, has got a Laney amp that works but has a crackly volume control, so he can't sell it. So he wanted it. Like, yes, he offered me it a couple of weeks ago when my car was when I didn't have insurance on my car, or there was something wrong with the car. And there seems to be a different problem. This is the time of year where I have problems with the car. And then he said, oh no, I've never been planning on quite keeping it, so he's now offered again, so I'm just going to go over right now before he changes his mind. Just get half an hour to change his mind. I can't actually, I think it's from memory it's like a hardcore max amp, which I had a bass version of at one point. I think it was a 50 watt, something like that. But it looks very similar. I think it was the one that immediately preceded my first good amp, which was I think it was called a GC30 with an H&H speaker in it, and I really like that amp. So I'm thinking it might be like that. I'm pretty sure it's a guitar amp. I'm not sure what the hardcore max version of it is, but it kind of looks the same. You know, it's got like a metal grill on it and stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm quite looking forward to it, and especially since I've managed to fix the Carol tune. Although my super foot switch is not working perfectly, I might need to go in with the switch cleaner on it. I think maybe the actual switches I used on the actual foot switches were from a really rusty, looks like it'd been stored in a puddle, Marshall multi-foot switch thing. That's where I got the actual switches. So those switches might just be shit. Might be a possibility of switch cleaning them, or I'm pretty sure that the Marshall foot switch I took to bits had 6 buttons on it, and it's only got 4 in the thing I've built, so I might have another 1 or 2 lying about, which is why it's kind of a little bit intermittent on the switches. As soon as I unplugged the lead from the back of the amp, all the buttons work perfectly, so it's definitely something to do with my switch. It's not working. Oh, I've just remembered there's a... Mind you, it's a Sunday. There was roadworks here last time. Yeah, so this is just by chance. I'm going past Alan, Mr. Bucky Rage, the guy with the Revelation, and what else did I do? The wee Sakai, and that wee lovely Dan Electro. Last week, he picked him up on his way home from work the other day and said, I can bring around another guitars. So it was like, well, I'll be driving past anyway. To be honest, I want to go to Home Bargains, which is there, and they've got cans of Blue Rockstar for, I think it's 59p or something, which is a third of the price of a can of that. It's nothing like it's nice, but it's a third of the price. So it'll get me my caffeine and extreme sugar hit that I require to function. Or maybe I can just one day start drinking coffee, but nah, not yet. So this guy actually is by chance, the Revelation guitar. It was Alan's, it was him that swapped it, that used to be his. He was like, he commented in the video I did, he's like, I just own this. Do you think he wants it back? Because Alan did mention, he's like, I'll probably want to get it back. Once it's fixed, I'll probably just sell it on, but then once I got a shot of it, I went to hear it in the video, I was like, oh, I never thought it sounded like that. I'm going to keep this one. So, oops. So maybe when I do these ones, I'm going to pick up the Vox ones, which I thought were 60s ones, but they're not. They're early 2000s reissues. I think the Revelation's about 2010 or 15, something like that, even though the serial number starts 22, which is stupid. I just wish everyone should just have, or the best thing about Gibsons, modern Gibsons, says on the back of the headstock, not only does it start with the 2 digits of when it was actually made, so it'll say on the back of the headstock, start with a 19, but then below it says Gibson USA 2020 model. So you know it's the 2020 model. That's why, even though it's made in 2019, it's not in the catalogue, because obviously they have to make some guitars for next year's catalogue, i.e. my Ibanez Blazer, which is very much a 1981, because that's what the serial number says, but it doesn't look at anything in the 1981 catalogue because it's from the 1982 catalogue, so it's probably made before Christmas. 2. What does that mean? It doesn't, I don't know. I think it'd be easier just to sort it out. You know, why don't they just start with day, month, year? Why isn't the serial number not just, you know, 1902-23 if you made a guitar today? Then it's just like, there you go, the first. Are they saving ink and not put as many digits in it? It doesn't really matter what day or what year it's made. I thought it would just be good for the records. You know, so they can look at the records and go, alright, so when was this? When exactly did this guitar leave the factory? They go, alright, give it the serial number, they type it in the serial decoder, work it out, look through lots of charts and stuff to find out. So it just starts with the fucking day that it was made or the whatever week. I think some of them do. No, that's 2 digits for the week, isn't it? A month's 2 digits. It would be 6 digits just to give you the date, isn't it? You can't really, there's no other way around it. And these lights aren't here. That's super. Right, I'm going to go to Bonnybridge first. Oh no, what did Alan just text me now? Alan just texted me to say your phone is not picking up anything. Just refusing. Bastard. I never put that, it's now thinking about it. I'm only a couple of yards away from his house. How come his text message isn't reaching me? I spot home bargains. I was going to get petrol on the way over, but I'm now getting 50 from the 30 miles I had left in the tank when I left. I'm now getting 54, so I've got enough to just go get petrol on the way over now. Or if there's not, there's a petrol station up in the left up here, which I actually remember when I had my Capri. It still sold 4-star, and that was that long ago. It's like, no way. Somebody you don't need to add in the additive because it was an old Pinto engine that was in it. That was a while ago. But I'm glad I did. So I mean, I have had a Capri. I've never had a Capri that I could use every day. I had a Capri that I had for what, about a year and a half or something. I think in that year and a half, it was working for maybe about 10 days or something. I actually even remember going out for a drive, and it was one of those cars because it was a pure banger. It was like didn't want to stop anywhere. You know, in case it doesn't start again. So I would go for drives and make sure my dad was about to come and rescue me if something happened and all these things. Fun. Come on, text message. Why won't you just give me the text message? Oh, come on. Up. Literally, his house is right here. It's right here, so that's the whole time going here. He's been trying to just past this house. It's too late. Sorry, I'm not coming to see you yet, Alan. I'm going to get you on the way back because my fucking phone's decided that your message isn't important enough. It's enough to send me that you got a message when I left the house, but not enough to give him the message. So no, you can't have that. Bastard phone. Right, so I'll just stop complaining. I've got a video. The video I'm going to put out tomorrow is I've got shit videos. I think I don't want to take away from the guitar stuff. So all these ones from just talking the car or bonusy ones. I'm still going to be, how many days are there? Like 7. Okay, 6 videos a week. 4 of them will be at least mostly guitar related. Or there will be 4 at least guitar related. You've got the 5th day is obviously the Sunday night live stream, which is guitar related, and then maybe a couple of funny ones, odd ones that are basically me doing this. That's good though. I have to say that, see the talking shit walking the 8 miles I did the other day, it was much easier. I haven't actually put out the last one because when I did that 4-mile walk back from Lindsay with the car, when I dropped off the car, like when I got home and it was about 2 hours later I got a phone call to go back and pick it up, so I walked another 4 miles, and the last video was basically me just huffing and puffing and complaining that whole hour, which is good. So if you ever want to feel unfit, no, if you ever want to feel fitter, watch someone really, really unfit walking their second 4 miles in a day. Miserable. start of the message when he said it. He said, "I'm easy, whatever. My only plan is cooking chili and messing about in the garage. Middle-aged Sunday bliss." There you go. So he will be in. I felt really guilty. I've still not put the video up when I went over to pick up the first lot of guitars. I overstayed my welcome. I was there for too long. Didn't really notice it at the time. The guy was very nice, but I was just which is never good. That'll be a bonus video I'll put up. These are the members only videos. I'm going to do the membership thing. I don't like putting adverts and things, or having to put adverts in it. So if I do the member thing, you don't have to see any adverts. I don't know, it's like £4 a month or something like that, £1 a week. If you're getting a couple of videos, or a couple of the half a dozen videos I'm putting out a week of interest to you, then it's worth £1 a week, isn't it? Which would be nice if any money I give back I'll invest in guitar bits. What was I watched the other day? We're going to, me and Scott were talking about setting up a reverb shop. There's a guy in Gourock has a reverb shop, and this is a strictly not-for-profit organisation. All the gear that I sell will be used entirely to fund new gear that I buy for myself. Well, fair enough. I think you're maybe pushing the not-for-profit angle, but done in a humorous way. I quite like that. Well, I've still not picked up the absolutely shagged Japanese nylon string acoustic guitar Scott's got. Well, I should really put in the maps. Maps. Phones. I can hate them. Veering a bit all over the road because of it. Search, and hopefully it'll just come up the last one. I love using Google Maps on the phone because it means that I can look up where I'm going on Google Maps on the computer before I leave. I've got most of the way, so I know very roughly how to get there, and then I can just turn on Google Maps on the phone and it remembers what the last thing I was looking at is and gives me final directions. 10 minutes. I can easily make this video last another 10 minutes. I'm not going to. I'll get back to you when I get home. Walking, catch you later. Yeah, done. Lovely guy. Had a wee man cave in his garage. Yeah, so parked up inside his house, and the garage door started up and over, and then there was like sort of psychedelic tie-dyed curtains. Then to the back there was the man cave. A nice setup. He's got actually very, and there was an empty bottle of bucky in the corner. It's like, yes. Yeah. So, cheers, man. That's great. This is the amp here. It's from memory. I remember my GC30. I think it was in the same box. I thought it was much bigger than that, but I think at the time I wasn't used to amps being huge. You know, as I'd never been in a studio, so I'd probably never seen a Marshall stack, or certainly never played through one, or you know what I think of now. You know, I'd have the tendency to think of things like that, the orange PC30 as being a PC30, TX30, the 30-watt orange. I even just called it the wee orange. It's huge, much bigger than that. Like physically. I don't know, you just get used to things. So what kind of guitar? I did a Jim Deacon bass. So that's pure amazing, I'm keeping that. It's lovely. White one with a tortoiseshell scratch plate. The Sharpie logo on the headstock. Fantastic. What else did he have? He had a telly. He had a couple of Jaguars. Am I just going to go in here and get petrol? Yes. One more accurately. Oh, what's ultra diesel? There's just not. I don't want ultra diesel. Let's not. Oops, sorry. Well, my brakes work. Just diesel. So my brakes do work. That would be actually fully locked up. Sorry, that was an annoying pump. That So I was looking at it, it was like before the women hit the reset button, it was like £10 and two. I was like, haha, they went 2 pence over. I was only just trying to put a tenner in as well, so I was like, up here, £9.98, £9.99, £10 and two. So I was like, I'm going to try and get this at 15 then, and then £14.97, £14.98, £14.99, £15 and 3 pence. But what else did I have? So he had a Telecaster that was made, I think he said it was made up a bit, so it was quite nice. So, another bass which he didn't show me, I don't know if it was a Parksea-caster as well, blonde one, and a Jaguar, a classic vibe Jaguar, which is for sale if anyone's wanting a classic vibe Jaguar, give me a shout. He said a couple £100, so I don't even know. I think that's quite good for a classic vibe Jaguar though. I think Jaguar. They're not really my thing. I prefer the Jaguar to the Jazzmaster because it's got a slightly shorter scale. The body doesn't seem as big, whereas the Jazzmaster's got the full scale and the body on it was massive. And did I come down that hill? I don't think I did. No, sorry. And his main guitar was it, which I wish I'd known before you gave me a shot of it. It's a Japanese one as well. So I think you did a video one before, a white one, and a broken pickup. The Japanese one, it was like, I do remember the Japanese one. I remember it was a bit, so I had a bit of the unloved look about it. It was like, yeah, I would not normally ever really buy a Jaguar, but this one really fucking nice. And he was like, yeah, I think I might sell. I was like, they're worth a lot of money. I was like, you're right. Thinking, which is one of these going to be, what, 400 quid? And it was 900 or something, and I think that's what they're worth. I do have the ability to see something and go, oh, that's really nice. I'll totally buy that for half the price of what it's actually worth, when I didn't know how much it was actually worth. But very nice. And I thought he was showing me his pedal. I should have taken the. I had the camera in my pocket, I didn't know what he was saying. He's like, you've never seen, what was the pedal called? It was a French pedal called a K something. And it was basically, I've kind of talked to people about this before, but basically the difference between like in general, like, you know, like a Telecaster and a Les Paul is EQ. You can have a Les Paul and EQ it, so it sounds like a Tele, and vice versa, whereas this is actually what this pedal did. It was like there was a switch in the front, what you were putting in, so it had like a single coils or humbucker switch on it, and then on the way out it had, he was plugging a Jaguar in, and it was like, you know, it's like, here's a 50 Strat, here's a Texas Special Strat, a P90 thing, a PAF Les, you know, it was basically a pickup simulator, which I think is just sort of just basically a preset EQ thing, but it really was noticeably, yep, that does. I'm standing here, I can see that you're playing a Jaguar. There's no, there's no other things playing. You're not in a mix at all, completely solo, and it is noticeably, that does sound like a Strat, and that does sound like a Les Paul. So I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? I think he said it was, I think the user said it would work 120 quid, and he said he bought it second hand for 90 or something, 18, 90. And it's interesting. I'm sitting there, you know, I've got the gear, as soon as I see it, as soon as I heard the first thing it did, it's not that useful, but that kind of negates half the guitars I've got, really, doesn't it? Not really, you don't need to have, I mean, I'm sitting there with guitars, but I'm sitting with the guitar that we were sick of this week. I don't think I've actually mentioned it in the video yet, the Tempest one. So, I mean, I'm the reason that, in my justifying thing, you've got to try and justify why I've got so many guitars. It's like, it's got a 3-way switch on it, not a 2-way, not a 5-way. So although you can, the switch is actually, it's actually quite a good switch, so you can actually, it's not that difficult to wedge it between, you know, to just have it in position 2, even though it doesn't exist. It kind of stays there because it's in such good condition. You know, you don't need a matchstick and it doesn't move out. I don't think I would want to rely on a gig situation, but if we're sitting playing in the house, it's like you want positions 2 and 4. But what I was doing last night was I was forcing myself to use the tone controls. So I was playing through the Carlton, which is quite trebly. So I was using it, and it's like trying to make sense of, because that's the way a Stratocaster was designed. it was designed to have the bridge pickup on its own with no tone control, and the middle and the neck on their own with a tone control each. So there's a reason, you know. So that's what I was trying to do, playing last night for a couple of hours actually. I even totally ditched all my pedals. I've replaced every single one of them. I'm not including the loop pedal or either of the two AB switches, the one that switches between guitar amp and bass amp, and the one that switches between the two guitar amps, and the drum, the Moore drummer pedal. They don't count as pedals. They're not effects pedals. They are pedals, but they're switches. I wouldn't say a loop pedal was an effects pedal and a drum machine's a drum machine. So I've changed all the other pedals. So I'm now. And basically one of the reasons I wanted to do it was because I was getting constant noise through the tuner pedal I had, which I remember having before. But basically what I did was I rearranged my power supply so that it was getting a cleaner signal. I gave it its own wee output rather than being connected to anything else, and that seemed to have sorted it, but it didn't seem to. So basically I've dug out my original pedal, which I bought in 1996 or 97, something like that. When was the Comfy Chair, my first band, which was about a year after I started playing the guitar and tuning. Did I have it before? I don't think I had it for the first week in the studio, but I did the second week, and that would be the second week of me playing the bass from never having. I don't even know if I owned a bass at the time. That cost me 65 quid though, so I'm getting my money's worth out of it. It's not particularly fancy looking. It's just wee LEDs, like a green one and then a red one either side. That's kind of it, and it's a good sized Boss pedal, or it's an Arion, but it's a Boss sized Boss shaped thing. So I'm now onto that. What else am I going to next? Then I've got the Boss OD OS2, the one that's just the yellow pedal. It's kind of, instead of having 3 knobs, it's got 4 on the last one. At one side it's the OD one, and if you put it to the other side it's the ST one, so you can mix between the two of them. Not getting on so well with that as I thought I would. And then the next one is the Washburn Stack in a Box, which I've been tried using before as a sort of, I was under the impression it was a sort of chip screwery type thing. But then I remember reading about it and it was like it's got 2 stages in it rather than just one or something. It's got 2 the chips that the chip screamer's got. I tried using it. I had it on my board for 6 months or something like that. I ended up just never really using it. It wasn't fantastic sounding, but now because I was using it going into that Carrollton amp, it's like that's what it's for. It's called a Stack in a Box. It was that amp that came out in the late 80s when most folk, it wasn't like it is now where everyone's got Fenders and Oranges and Marshall guitar amps, Stacks, but you didn't really get them the same way in the 80s. Professional bands had them, but not pub bands. So this was basically designed to make like a solid state 100 watt H&H, like a Marshall Stack, or sound like a tube amp, like a big solid state gigging amp, sound like a tube amp. And see, when you plug it into the Carrollton, it makes sense, because it does, that's what it does. It doesn't make the other amps that I plug into, because they kind of are stacks. Well, the Softtake is a stack, but like even the wee Orange or the PV or the Laney are all valve. Okay, they're not stacks, but the actual amplifier part of it, that's kind of what they are. So using this thing that makes an amp sound like a stack into an amp that already sounds like a stack doesn't really do that much. It's kind of the same as you have 2 distortion pedals running into each other. You've got a clean sound and you put on either one of the distortion channels, that make a big difference. But if you've got one pedal on and you turn the second one on, it's like, yeah, it changes it, but it doesn't. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about my pedals. I'm nearly at this guy's house, I can't remember what else there is. And then after that, I think I went straight into the chorus, the Bellcat chorus, because I was thinking chorus is a very cleany thing. The Carrollton, I basically built a Carrollton rig. Chorus, and then I've got the Memory Toy delay, the HX one, and then I've got the Shim Verb reverb, and then that's my pedals. So there is no rat in my circuit. I don't know. The rat's my favourite pedal. doubt for all time, that's the pedal I love most. So not having it there is maybe going to force me not to use it a little bit. And the rusty fuzz, which I feel I should use. I really do like it. It's not as mental as the Delamo fuzz, but I do like it. The thing I don't like about it is the button switch on it, which I probably actually change if I wanted to. But it's like a digital switch. So I mean, it works 100% of the time. It's just with the digital switch, you step on it, and then it changes when you let go, as opposed to you stomp on it and then it's on. Do you know what I mean? So you have to. It's just a case of if you just. It doesn't make any difference, but if you're used to stomping on the solo and then taking your foot off, you've got to put your foot on, then take your foot off when you start your rocking bit. Right, that's me at Alan's house, so I managed to talk for all of this video so far. A very short 2-minute video. Segment of this video. None of my videos are really short. Even the ones that are really short aren't really short. So we've got another load of guitars off Mr. Bucky Rage. Might even have his actual. You the Sabbath guys, I saw you on the happy now. Pretty good. So every year we have a Buckfest thing. Would you be interested in playing it? What, playing at the Buckfest? Damn right, I'll play at that. Because you know if we dress in monks' outfits, I saw a video as a happy and well, the other 3 guys are dressing as like, you know, religious monks. I'm a Bucky monk. So that could be an interesting gig. Bit fun. Who doesn't like Sabbath? It comes down to nobody doesn't like Sabbath. I need to get a date off him, but I think we should do that. It's actually been in a band that's not got a lockdown. All the members are alive, and we should be gigging more. I know Craig at Guitar Stock, you know, kind of likes the idea of not playing too many gigs, but you know, maybe doing half a dozen a year. And I'm thinking I'd like to do 10 a year, maybe not every month, but 1 a month. Missing out a couple of months, I think it's a nice gigging thing. I do like the 3 guys in the band. None of us are. Probably means it's me that's the arsehole, but all seem quite nice, and we got on quite respectfully, and we're all good at what we do. It's like it doesn't have this somebody being better than somebody else, which is always happens in bands. Whereas the guitarist's a better bass player than the bass player, or the bass player's a better drummer than the drummer, or you know, all at different levels. Whereas the best guitarist in the band is Craig playing the guitar, the best bass player in the band is me playing the bass, the best Aussie in the band is Brian's being Aussie, and the best drummer in the band's Alan on drums. So it's like, we're there. Always a good thing. But I can do an alright Aussie. Not as good as Brian can. I can probably play the guitar. Probably not quite as good as Craig. Well, I don't know. It's not something I'm not. It's certainly when I'm playing, and I've never had that thing when you're going, oh, I wish you wouldn't do that. I've never ever had that with Craig. He's always had the utmost taste and stuff, apart from the start of what was it he could never get? Lord of this World. So he's got. There's a thing about that. It's like what's it go like again? No, that's not that one. I can't even remember what Lord of this World goes like now. I can remember the notes. No. I get cornucopia in my head. Master of Reality, Lord of this World. He did it at the gig, but he didn't get it wrong. But he tends to go and it's like just not quite the but that's not a guitar thing. Hey, that took longer than I expected. Met a couple of folk. Met a pal from just round the corner, the one who I mentioned last time I was going round to Alan Bucky Rage's house. That just lives round the corner. The guy I got, what did I get off him? I think he actually gave me a guitar one time, that blood spattered one. Lovely guy. Remember his second name, can't remember his first name. But then as soon as I talked to him, that guy comes like, you're the guy from YouTube. So So yeah, I got noticed. I think that's the third or fourth time I've been noticed out in public since I started doing YouTube. Yeah. Look, I've got a Westone in the house. I can't remember what it is. I tried to sell it in Gumtree and get it up for 200 quid. I was like, yeah, well, you're selling it for what it's worth. Hence why I didn't go and buy it. It was like, try sticking a Westone on Gumtree in central Scotland for 50 quid and watch me. You know, so I told him to make me a picture of it. It says it's white. I can't buy it at 200 quid. But I see if it's one of the £800 ones, like if it's a Thunder 3, something like that, I'll give him the 200 quid for it. It's possible. I'd imagine it's going to be a Spectrum though. That's the only one I can really think of, apart from Thunder 3 that comes in white. So guitar, so quite a good guitar day. It's at 5 o'clock. I'm not going online tonight till 8 o'clock. I've got plenty of energy drinks to do well during the week. I bought a bottle of cider to have with my bucky tonight. And this is an interest. I remember to buy super glue. It's like, yes, well done. Just actually. Fun. Guitars. Talking to 4 cool guitar-y folk in one afternoon. I've only been out of the house for about 2 hours. But yeah. Well, the world's full of guitarists and nice people. All over the place. And bucky drinkers. Maybe. I like good fun. So I mean, I'm actually really hungry and I'm smoking a fag, so I'm going to call this up. This will be a during the day, some point during the week video. I would imagine you're probably sick of hearing about the white Stratocaster. You might have seen this amp working, and you'll see some interesting guitars. Look at an Ibanez Jet King, which apparently the story is that he used it for 1 gig and then smashed it up in a rage. Right, what happened? Did it do something to you? He's like, no, we were drinking absinthe. Right. I've never actually drank absinthe, but I've heard of it. I remember many years ago, my pal was over at his girlfriend's house, and we were going to a gig. So we're still getting half an hour before we're going to go get the train or whatever. So you're going to be drinking to drink. So I got this bottle of absinthe, that was it. So they had a wee drink of absinthe each, and then it was like 3 hours later they were both just sitting there staring at the floor. Says it's totally something else. I need to try it, is the answer to that. I need to try absinthe. But I don't think it's one of those things that you drink before you go somewhere. It's just like pure, intense super alcohol. So I need to go to the shop anymore. I've got enough food. Excellent. I look forward to my bottle of bucky tonight, I think. I'm not looking forward to my walk tomorrow, but there's no worst case scenario really. Take the car down there and end up in Waterside, then I've got to get home somehow. So I'll survive. That far a walk. There's always a possibility. One of these times when I'm walking home, somebody's going to pass me and give me a lift. Mole might pass again, but this time he won't pass me when I'm 200 yards away from the house. He'll pass me when I'm just left Waterside. Oh, I see you're here walking in Waterside. Does that mean you want to go up the road? Yes, please. That'd be fucking great. I was going to say, it was actually quite nice when I went out. Now it's got grey and rainy. So basically my hopes are for tomorrow. About 9:30, 10 o'clock when I go up the road. When I walk up the road, it's not raining. Even if it is raining, does it really matter? Yeah. Not when you know that you can get home in an hour of walking. I won't be cold because I'll be turbo walking the whole way, and I can have a shower when I get back. See? Well, you've got to melt the cab, the entrance to melt the cab, see if you're coming from Falkirk. Fields. So you see the donkey's still there. I've not seen the donkey in about a year. I think probably because I've been driving past here at night, and this is only good for going to Falkirk. Everywhere else you go past Lidl. Donkey used to be on the left here. I don't see anything in that field. Maybe he's rotated the fields. I think donkeys last for years. But I'm pretty sure you get like 30-year-old donkeys, so it's probably... Maybe it's in for the song, maybe it's in a shed, maybe because it's raining. You get a 20 or 30-year-old donkey is not stupid enough to stand outside in the rain. Not in Scotland. Not at night. But no, I'll be staying dry. One of the things I like about going out that direction, like kilsyth, okay, I'd say it's only 5 minutes, maybe it's actually 15 minutes, but it's 15 minutes along roads like this, which is pleasant. It's on the sheep country. I mean, it's not like just being stuck at traffic lights and all that. You get things to look at. Fields and trees and stuff, and there's that wee ornamental garden down on the left. 2 years ago last year, I did my Yamaha acoustic video in the snow down there. Never really got any snow this year. Yet. And there's co-op number 1, the co-op, and then if you go, so that'd be, and there's co-op number 2, the Scotmid co-op. Two co-ops 20 yards apart. Here's the town centre, and there's us leaving the town centre. So, rocking, and buy something off me so I can afford to pay for me, get my car fixed. Things coming up for sale. Maybe a wee lady amp coming up. Rocking, catch you later.